useless. Totally, absolutely useless. I feel so angry. I can't put up with loose cannons. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
Good evening and welcome to You're Fired. I'm Rod Gilbert. In this week's task, the candidates competing for a £250,000 investment from Lord Sugar had to introduce a new product line to a high-end department store. But Alexandra decided to shut up shop and walked out on the whole process at the start of the task. The announcement left Lord Sugar reeling, a broken man struggling to deal with his grief.
The process is very, very tough, and if you can't hack it, you know, get out.
In Apprentice news tonight, Karthik gets all philosophical.
I'm like water. You put water in a cup, it becomes a cup. You put water in a bottle, it becomes a bottle.
That's right, and if you put someone who speaks a whole load of metaphysical business guff in a suit, it becomes a Karthik. In an incredible display of multitasking, Jessica sings the lyrics to Cool for Cats while singing the tune to something completely different.
Cool for cats.
And finally, Dylan catches a fly. Let's see that again. And that was tonight's Apprentice News. Let's meet our panel ready to whip back the changing room curtain and take a peek inside this week's department store task. International entrepreneur Francis Dickens, presenter and Apprentice fan Gabby Roslin, and comedian Hugh Dennis. Welcome to You're Fired. High drama in the process this week. Two candidates left the SS Apprentice. Mackay was fired, but the other left of their own accord. Yes, Alexandra didn't even give Lord Sugar a chance to chuck her overboard. Instead, she took it upon herself to walk the plank.
Guys, I just have to say something. I'm going to leave the process. So I'm really sorry.
What?
I'm just not enjoying it. And I'm not...
Is this a joke?
No, it's not a joke. Good luck, guys.
Good luck.
Sorry.
Please welcome Alexandra King. So, Alexandra.
Yes.
Alexandra, what a dress.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a dress. Incredible. Why? Obvious question.
Yes,
Why walk out?
There are two sort of main core reasons for me, and one of them is I just find the whole sort of perhaps blame culture a bit unnecessarily stressful. And the other thing is that I believe in a very healthy work-life balance, and I don't believe that was possible in this process.
I don't think anybody watching it at home or any of us would argue that it looks brutally tough. I mean, I wouldn't even enter it. I'll level with you.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough, and I could have definitely carried on that way, but I just kind of put my foot down and said, actually, I have a choice, and I don't want to carry on that way.
Yeah.
I could have, but I wouldn't have been true to myself at all.
You said at the time that you wanted to see your family. You really missed it. Who is this family you're so fond of?
I've got... I don't know that.
Are they here? Give us a wave. Where are you? All of you, hello?
You know when you left the house, though, you know, you hadn't talked to anyone in the house about the fact you were leaving. Were you able to tell your family you were coming back? Because it would have been tragic if you'd left and you'd found they'd all gone on holiday.
Francis, you've worked in lots of different organisations, large and small. Have you ever been tempted to walk?
Yeah, all the time.
Oh.
I throw my toys out the pram pretty much every week over something. But I think for me, you know, when you've mortgaged your house, you've invested so much in the business, you don't have the luxury of doing that. You've just got to tough it out and make it work.
Do you think Alexandra should have toughed it out and made it work?
I probably did at the time. I mean, I'm hearing her explanation. I'd have liked to have seen her tough it out and see it through to the end, actually, yeah, or at least to the point where it was the end for her.
I mean, surely you'd watched The Apprentice before. So
Yes.
you must have known what you were getting yourself into.
Yes, well, to that I'll say, sometimes you think going into a relationship is a great idea. You think, oh, yeah, perfect. Once you're in there, you think, what on earth was I thinking?
So, Alexandra took flight this week. A surprise, or were the signs there from the start? Let's have a look where it all went wrong.
I have found the process overwhelming and stressful and really intense.
Well, ladies, first task, headless chickens comes to mind.
Michelle is trying to put all the blame on the market team, and I think she should be very, very careful doing that. You said you worked well with me on day one.
Because I didn't want to bring your confidence down for day two when I was with you.
She's an utter nightmare to work with. Nightmare.
The weakest link would have been Alexandra in terms of the fact that she did make mistakes on the pricing.
I corrected myself, though.
I corrected you.
I don't know what it is, but even though I didn't make a sale, but I'll blame it on Alexandra, I'm going to leave the process.
How does that feel watching it?
It feels kind of removed because when I was in it, I kind of felt so much more emotional at the time, and I was like, this cannot be like this, and it must be like the way that I think, and it has to be more my way. And kind of now it looks a lot more, looks lighthearted. It doesn't look so bad, I would say.
I'm sort of genuinely interested, though, in what it's like in the house. Because one thing I'm finding watching this programme that I find sort of wearing in a way is that everybody's going on about how brilliant they are all the time. Now, does that happen in the house? Is it like the Waltons, but before you go to bed, it's everybody going, I am brilliant. You can't think of you brilliant. I'm brilliant. Yeah, I'm brilliant. I'm fantastic.
It is very much like that.
How much was it, the house, having to live and work together? That has got to be... There's no escape.
Well, I was in boarding school, actually, as a
So
teenager.
you've got a little bit of
I
that.
was used to that kind of thing, although living with the candidates is a totally different story.
What was the worst thing about living with them? Was it, is it just living with egomaniacs, or is it finding Karthik's monobrow in the plug hole every day? What is it?
Yeah.
Francis, have you ever lived and worked together with people?
I can't think of anything more ghastly than having to live 24/7 with people that I'm working with and competing with. I love the people I work with, but I've seen what they do to the kitchen at work. I can't imagine what the bathroom is like in that house, and the bedroom, the whole...
Oh, yeah.
How many bathrooms are there?
Well, there were several, but you had Paul.
I'm fascinated by the details
no,
of the house.
Find
Is there a
everything.
mixer tap or is it separate tap? Just curious, isn't it?
I'm genuinely interested in it.
Has it got one of those non-slip mats in the bathroom?
There were some battles actually to do with hygiene, and Paul was at the sort of like leading that and saying, you know, can you please pick up after yourself? Wipe that. You've left a stain. That dish is not washed properly. So he would kind of be always doing
that's a surprise.
that. Yeah.
Gary, how would you get on in there?
I think I'd be self-conscious and embarrassed. I'd want my own space. I can imagine. And also if you're used to having your family and your kids around you, that's very different than a bunch of adults who are all competing.
We do have a little bit of unseen footage to remind you of those happy, happy times in the Apprentice house.
Thank you for choosing to stay at the Apprentice house. Your home for the next 12 weeks. Maybe. Our patented open plan accommodation is designed to house even the most horrifically inflated egos. Our aqua gym and inbuilt sauna are the perfect place to revive those aching limbs after another brutal mauling from Claude. Our state-of-the-art kitchen means your ideas might be half-baked, but your dinner doesn't have to be. And when the going gets really tough, what better than a pair of red monkeys exposing themselves to take your mind off it all? Thank you for choosing the Apprentice house for the most stressful holiday of your life.
Sort of getting into... We're all so fascinated by the house. I don't know if you noticed when I think it was Karthik opened the cupboard, the kitchen cupboard. Look at that! Look at the beans in there. Yeah. Did they just live on baked beans in that house?
Yeah, you don't really have time to eat that well. But
Is it
yeah,
just for show, though?
No, they're real beans for real eating.
Are they?
Yeah.
They do sort of explain a strange comment that you made earlier in one of the interviews. Have a look at this.
The sheer energy that I am going to bring is going to mimic that of a nuclear explosion.
So with Alexandra gone, the fifth candidate to leave was Superfly, King of the Bow Tie, Mackay. Titan's tills rang all the way to the top floor, whilst Nebula's sails got stuck in a service lift in the basement, and it was early closing for Mackay.
The fault lays here with handbags. Mackay, I do believe that you did influence Grania, and I don't think you have the potential of being my business partner. Mackay, you're fired.
Now, unfortunately, Mackay couldn't be with us tonight. He's packed up his dicky bows and moved to Japan for a new job. But we had a techno chat with him earlier and asked him about his experience in the process.
Hi there everyone, I'm really sorry I couldn't make it to the studio this evening. I've just recently got on a plane and moved to Tokyo in Japan. I'm feeling a little frustrated. I got fired, but you know, I gave my recommendations. I said that I've got experience, I know products. I did sell the highest value item on the task. In terms of making a decision, that was up to the PM at the end of the day.
My personal choice would be bags.
First handbags, second scarves.
So the New York skyline and the Mallorca sea view, that was the original concept, really didn't come off. Unfortunately, it ended up being a bit of a fudge.
This is the New York skyline on this side.
I don't get it. How would I know that's a New York skyline?
What really went wrong is that we didn't use the window effectively.
You get 30 to 40% more footfall if someone stands in the window.
Garonia's decision not to put Rebecca into the window was a critical one.
You're not going to use the window at all, no?
I think that was one of the key factors in losing the task.
Mackay, you're fired.
I found the apprentice process really interesting as a whole. I think there's a lot of challenges that I didn't expect. The biggest challenge was actually the other candidates in the process and working with them in an effective way. You know, I'm not too upset. I'm here in Japan now and I'm doing well.
Lots to talk about. There's so much to talk about just in what he was saying there. I mean, if we start with the bags, Francis, how big a mistake was it that they followed Mackay and went with bags instead of scarves?
I think that was an absolutely crucial mistake. That particular store is worldwide renowned for its prints and its scarves, but I think it's absolutely crucial.
Did his New York skyline, Hugh? Have you been to New York?
Yeah.
Did that take you back there?
No.
What was that bit of wallpaper?
That wasn't a bit of wallpaper. That, with a cloud on, that was a stunning southern Spain resort.
Of course it was.
Didn't it?
Silly me.
Didn't it evoke Andalusian sunset, sangria?
What were you going to put? When he said go and put her in the window, what was she going to do? Would you really, if you walked past a London store and you saw a woman walking around with a bag between white columns and a piece of blue wallpaper?
Yeah, but maybe that's why he didn't do it, because the scale was all wrong, wasn't it? Because if those aren't actual skyscrapers, she's going to look massive.
It's like King Kong wandering around.
Yeah. Do you think he's actually in Japan as well? Because when no, because when he said and he did it in a room where you couldn't see out of the windows, didn't he? That filming. There was no daylight. Could have been anywhere.
Did he?
I reckon Wembley.
Was it a travel lodge in Wembley? Karen said he had an air of superiority, I think, not in this task, I think 1 or 2 ago, but did that come across to you, do you think? She said he rubbed people up the wrong way, Gabby.
Absolutely, he did me. And I was sitting there at home.
He did you?
Yeah, he didn't do me. No, I'll rephrase that.
Not in the travel lodge in...
Certainly not at Wembley. He absolutely rubbed me up the wrong way at home. That's still not right. That's still not working.
Still not right. It's getting worse. He was in your house.
I think you can salvage the at-home bit of that sentence.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I was sitting at home watching it, and he would irritate me too. How's that? Does that work?
I think that... Yeah, we're clear.
Yeah, that works.
So, Mackay's been in the bottom 3 in the boardroom 3 times. Was it 3rd time unlucky, or was he lucky to get that far?
I think it was only a matter of time, to be honest. I think he definitely deserved to go, but then I also think probably that Grania had quite a lucky escape on that, because she was the PM. She did listen to him in the face of the rest of the team saying it should be scarves, and then she didn't do the one thing that might have salvaged it, which we just discussed, which was putting somebody in there to try and get some footfall through.
But also, I believe that she didn't use her artistic, because I believe she's a makeup artist, and she should have that kind of artistic eye to bring a bit of colour and pop into that, you know. So I just feel she wasn't using
the design of the window to Mackay?
Yeah, she shouldn't have done that, perhaps, or she should have at least put some input in, because
he said he was an expert again.
Face-to-face selling like that, you know, in a shop, what's the most important thing? We saw lots of different tactics, from flirting to hard sell to...
Well, I think it's like any type of face-to-face selling. People have got to like you. But in that one, you can't be too pushy, because the minute you start to push, you're going to push them away. And it's really about making them want to buy something rather than selling to them, if you know what I mean by that differentiation.
No, I don't. I don't. Do you?
Well, they've got to like you. People want to do business with people they like. If you storm over there and you're in your face, they're not going to buy from you. Or alternatively, if you do what Sofiane did and just completely ignore the buying sale from the woman who said, well, I'd like one in black, and he went, oh, I think there's one over there.
Yeah, that was a very odd moment.
Yeah, never going to sell anything like that.
So what you're saying it's sort of the technique is to make somebody like you enough that they kind of go, I want to buy something for this person to fulfill something.
Yeah, I think Jessica did it really well. I think she was...
Yeah!
She was quite lively, she was approachable, she was fun, but she was efficient with it. So I think she nailed it pretty well.
It was a bad week for Mackay, but every cloud has a silver lining, and it was a damn good week for awkward hugs. Yes, you guessed it. It's time for Awkward Hug of the Week. At 3, she's here tonight. It's Alexandra and Rebecca with their I feel slightly obliged to give you a hug, even though nobody else is giving you a hug.
Good luck, you guys. I'm so sorry. Good luck, okay?
Straight in at number 2, it's a reluctant one-armed bandit from Mackay on his nemesis Grania. The I don't like you enough to bother lifting my other arm hug.
Sorry, dude.
But our awkward hug of the week this week goes to Dylan for his astonishing switcheroo. The old now you hug me, now you don't on Alana. Keep your eye on him. Amazing, isn't it?
It is amazing.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah. Blink and you miss it. I want to see it again. Let's see it again. It's incredible. It's incredible. Oh God, it's Alana. Abort! Who would you have gone through with it? I mean, once you've committed to that.
I like hugging a lot. I don't care who I hug, to be honest. Not bothered.
Would you have committed to that hug?
I would have.
Or would you have walked out halfway through?
No, I would have.
It's a cheap shot, don't bother answering it. It's just a silly joke.
I like hugs too, so yeah.
You like hugs too? Well, it was just a silly joke. Who else has caught your eye this week, Francis?
I like Trishna. I think she speaks a lot of sense. I'd like to see her go forward. And I quite like Paul as well. I think, he has a lot of good things to say. I think he's going to have to control his frustration, the box throwing moment.
Do you think he'd learnt from that this week? He seemed to be a bit calmer.
Probably was a bit calmer, but perhaps there was less irritating things
And he did quite well at certain times.
Yeah, he did, and as I say, he upsold very well.
Who's caught your eye, Gabby?
Obviously Jess.
Jessica.
I'm a huge fan of hers, but I also now, I've suddenly changed overnight. Karthik, he was driving me mad, but I thought he was so warm in the personal shopping bit. I suddenly saw a different side of him, and I was really impressed.
We're definitely seeing a different side of Karthik now.
Yes.
He's totally changed.
He was given the task, and he said, okay, I'm going to make the most of it and do the task in hand, and he did that so well. Yeah. I really have done 360 on him. I was screaming at the TV like you. Again. And I thought I think he's so warm. and
He's
genuine.
He's definitely bought.
I think technically if you go 360, you end
just
up
realised
pointing in
I've
exactly the same.
180.
Do a 180.
By next week, I'll probably be all the way back
360
again.
Yeah.
Maybe
You're going to do another 360 on him next week?
No, I'll do. No, by next week.
You've done the old 720. Done the old 720, and I feel exactly about him now as I always have, in fact. JD had a funny old week, didn't he? A quiet week.
Oh, bless him.
Bless him.
Yes, he looked like a heavy. He did look like he's a Secret Service agent in the background, and he got the tea. Bless.
Yeah. Is that why the tea became so important here? Is that because that's all he had?
Yeah, probably. It was his job, but he did it really well.
He really wrestled it under control. How did you get on with JD?
I think
he seems like a straight guy.
He's a great person. You know, he's a bit more serious, I think, in the house. He kind of keeps to himself a little bit, makes his tea, prepares his lunch, eats it, and kind of sits. He always used to sort of go on his own, really. But I really like him. He's also very, very lovely guy.
Do you think he's come to? Is he starting to run out of steam, though? Do you think he was very lost this week?
I think he's got a lot to offer.
Yeah.
Well, JD might not have quite found a place for all his skills this week, but he wasn't entirely useless.
JD, no offence, but what was you doing?
Yeah, I certainly struggled to find a place where I was, needed.
Do you think we should have asked their clothing size?
No, definitely not. I think it's a little bit intrusive on the phone.
JD, did you find out about the tea?
I did. It's under control.
So are you happy with that one?
Please send in from your side.
Can we exchange JD for Jessica?
You did make a mean cup of tea.
Alexandra, I'm sorry you felt you had to leave the process, but let's see what advice Lord Sugar has for you.
Alexandra, a very confident lady, very positive, spoke her mind, got involved, and I think that was quite impressive. I've often told people that this is a tough process. She's not the first to have felt homesick, not the first to have missed her family and all that stuff. How would she improve her ways? Well, no, you can't improve on that, because if that is how she feels, it's a very commendable feeling. It's just that, perhaps she shouldn't put herself forward for anything in future which requires her to be away from her family and loved ones.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with that because, before I had kids, I had the sort of, I did the sort of work that took me around the world, really, and I would never take a job like that where now, since having kids, where I leave them, because they are part of my life as well.
So you agree with him totally?
Only about the family.
You made your own decision, as you know, to leave the process, but do our panel feel it was the right decision? Francis.
No, I would like to have seen you stay longer.
Thank you.
Gabby.
Hearing what you have to say now, I understand the family thing, so I wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you.
You?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a shame that you're not in subsequent programmes, but I absolutely understand why you've done what you've done.
Okay.
Thanks very much. That's very
Understanding from the panel, but let's see what the audience think. If you agree with Alexandra's decision to walk, then hold up fired, and if you disagree with her decision, then hold up hired now, please. Oh. Oh. It is very, very close, but our audience think you made the right decision to walk.
Yeah!
Alexandra, you took control of your own destiny. You left the process voluntarily, but nobody leaves here empty-handed. Now, I started making you a sorry you're leaving cake.
Oh, really?
Unfortunately, I wasn't enjoying the process, so I left. It's half-made. It's half-made. You've got hundreds and thousands of little baubles there. You've got everything there to carry on making it yourself if you so choose.
This is just the best gift, because my daughter asked me, she said, Mummy, whatever present you get, can I have it? Yes, of course you can, Isabella.
You certainly can.
We're going to bake some cakes, yes. Thank you very much.
Obviously, Mackay isn't with us tonight, but we did post his goodbye gift to him in Tokyo. On the task, he was banging on about something so much that we felt we had to do something. Here's the moment he unwrapped his gift.
So thanks, Rod, for the gift. I've just received it today in the post. So as you can see, it's Rebecca in the window. Unfortunately, it's a couple of days too late for me to get unfired, but yeah, many thanks, and I appreciate it. Goronia, there you go.
He was very, very keen to see Rebecca in the window. Now he can look at her each and every day for the rest of his life. Alexandra, thanks so much for coming on the show. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let's have a look at your highlights.
Oh, Alexandra. I think she's so eloquent. I find her so interesting.
I wish I was very tender. I got on really well with Alexandra. We're down there. We sell lovely vintage things. I'm sad she left.
Yes, you love it. We've got to do.
Sold to the lovely man.
She's like, yeah, I'm in power.
If you hold a beautiful big diamond in your hand, that's going to have some weight to it.
I think she would have done really well if she continued and persisted, but it's everybody for themselves, really.
Nebula. It's an interstellar collection of gas and dust, and it's basically where stars like us are born.
So overall, when all's said and done, are you glad you went on The Apprentice?
100%.
Rod, sorry, I've just got something to say. I'm leaving. I'm leaving it. Well, I'm leaving. It's not a joke. I'm leaving the process because, to be honest with you, I haven't enjoyed it. So,
I'm sorry. I just don't feel. Yeah, you know, I'll come back to that, but I
we seem to be going together, which is quite
I'm so
exciting.
sorry,
To be
but
honest. So,
thank you. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
okay.
Right, let's crack on. Save me a cab fare anyway. Save me 2 cab fares. Ladies and gentlemen, Alexandra King and Hugh Dennis. Also, please, thanks to our Apprentice fans and guests tonight who stayed, Francis Dickens and Gabby Roslin. If you want to see more of The Apprentice, head over to BBC iPlayer, where you can watch exclusive clips and find out everything you need to know about this year's series. Next week, our candidates will be running their own crowdfunding campaign to raise money for some cycling products.
For your next task, I want you to bring a new cycling product to market.
3, 2, 1. Feel like I'm in trance.
I think it's really cool.
That's amazing.
I think we're on to a winner, maybe, you know?
Riding our cycles through London.
You're so rude.
No, sorry.
I just don't think you can get crowdfunding into a song.
Stop! 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 Don't blame it on the sunshine. Don't blame it on the moonlight.
You think that makes sense, or would that just stupid?
Hashtag London. Hashtag crowdfunding.
Hashtag concern.
You're concentrating too much on one aspect.
If he doesn't want to listen to me, that's fine. Let's lose.
And relax.
Cut it there.
Hold on. I'm not having this conversation.
So I'm in the right room. Thank you very much.
I will eat my shorts so that gets traction on social media.
Who will get the winner's yellow jerseys and who will be our Lance Armstrong? I'll be back next Thursday at 10 for more You're Fired, when I'll be joined by Alison Stewart-Allen, Jenny Eclair and Guz Khan. Good night.